Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video we're going to be building a modern web development agency website using only HTML and CSS. And in this project we're going to be making use of only CSS Flexbox. And this project is for people who have prior knowledge with HTML and CSS. So let's get started. And in the description of this video, we're going to be dropping a link to the source files. That's the images and links of the Figma design, everything that concerns this video. We're going to be dropping it in the description. Yeah, so all you have to do is just code along with me. So you create a folder and open it in your favorite code editor. So the first thing we need to do is to create a HTML file. So like I said, the source file, the images are going to be provided for you, and they're all here. Everything that concerns this website, all the images are here. So let's get started. So we create the HTML boilerplate. We'll call it web weavers. And then we need to create a CSS file and link it to the HTML file. So while we are structuring, when you're structuring a website, you need to leave proper comments and labeling, so that it can be understood easily, so that the structuring of the website can be understood by anyone who opens the source files. So the first section we have will be the welcome section. So start welcome section. So we're going to be following a Figma design, which is this design right here. So we're going to be coding exactly what we see, step by step, section by section. So I'll leave a link in the description for this particular design as well as the source files. So let's move on. So the first section is the welcome section. So we'll have a section tag with the class of welcome, and inside there we'll have a div with the class of welcome container. Always use sensible class names while building. And then the first thing we'll have is the navigation bar. So start nav bar, and under there we'll have the tag nav with the class of nav container, and inside we'll have a div with the class of nav links, and inside that we'll have a h2 with the class of h2, which has an a tag with the class of logo. We'll leave the href empty for now, and inside here we'll have web weavers. Under the h2, we have a ul with the class of nav collection. Inside the ul, we're going to have 4 LIs with an a tag with the class of nav collection item. Like I said, always use sensible class names while building things in HTML. The href will be empty, and inside you'll have the home. We'll have the about. We'll have the testimonials. And then we have contact. So directly under, we're going to have 3 things in this, basically 3 divs in this navbar, or 2 divs I mean. We'll have the first one, which contains the logo, the nav links, and then another part which contains these buttons right here. And then we're going to have this image as well. So directly under the nav links, which is this div right here, we're going to have a div with the class of nav btn. Inside that we're going to have a ul with the class of btn collection, and inside that you have an li and an a tag with the class of btn collection item. The href will be empty as well. Inside the a tag you have sign in, and here we'll have sign up. So for this button, we're going to give them a global class names that we're going to create and style in the CSS. So whenever we see a button which looks like this or this, so we're going to give this btn primary and btn secondary. It's just to like save time basically. So whenever we come across a button that looks like this, we'll just give it the class of btn primary basically, and this will have btn secondary. So I'm going to call this second button btn secondary, and then directly under that nav btn div we'll have an image with the class of rectangle 1184, which is the name of the image. So the source img rectangle 1184. So we don't need the alt right now. So let's check what we have so far. Let me also leave a comment. And nav bar. So let's check what we have so far. So this is what we have so far. So let's move on. The next part is we're going to call this the hero, a hero container basically, which contains all these images and text and this big image right here. So let's move on. So directly under the nav bar, we'll leave a comment, start hero, and under that we'll have a div with the class of hero container, and under that we'll have a div with the class of hero text. Inside the hero text we'll have a h2 with the class of hero heading, and inside the hero heading we'll have a span with the class of providing, which will contain this text called providing. If you look at this our design, this providing best, the font style is different, and this one's font size and font style and color is different. So we're going to put them in two separate spans. So providing, then we'll have a line break, then best, we'll have a line break as well, and then after the span we'll have another span. We'll have another span with the class of web services. Then we'll have web services. So directly under the H2, we have a paragraph with the class of hero paragraph. And inside that, we're just going to have a lorem. Let me say lorem 20. Then under the paragraph, we're going to have a UL with the class of hero collection. And inside that, we'll have an LI, which has an A tag with the class of hero collection item. We leave the href empty for now. Hero collection item, and also btn primary, and also welcome btn primary, because this particular primary btn is kind of longer and has a box shadow as well. So inside here we'll have get started, and under this li we'll have another li with an a tag, the class of hero collection item, which also has a class of btn secondary, and this one says explore. And this one says explore. So directly under the UL, we'll have an image with the class of rectangle 11757. Again, you can give it any class name you want, but I just named it after the file name. Rectangle 11757. So let's check what we have so far on our website. So this is what we have so far. Remember, we're following this this design. So the next thing we need to add is this particular, all these images basically. So these images are all going to be inside a div of their own. That's this image, this image, this image right here, and all these images around it before we start styling it. I like to complete the HTML of a particular section, which is this welcome section first, before we then move on and style the section. So directly under hero text div, we have a div with a class of hero image div, and inside that we're going to have multiple images. Okay, we're going to have multiple images. So we have the first one with the class of rectangle 1177. Okay, let me 1177 source img rectangle 1177. I don't need the alt right now. So the next one, image with the class of vector 2, source image vector 2. The next, we have an image with the class of rectangle 1178, source image 1178. So the next, let's see what we have so far. Yeah, so these are all these images that we have all around this particular section. So the next image we have is an image with the class of group 1320, source image group 1320. The next image we have is an image with the class of rectangle 29, rectangle 29. So we don't need this. Let me clean these alt tags. We don't need them for now. These attributes, rectangle 29. So after that, yeah, we have a lot of images in this particular section. After that, I have another image with the class of hero img, source image then image 17, and then the last image we have an image with class of rectangle 1183, rectangle 1183. So that's all. We have a total of 7 images in number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 images. No, it's meant to be 7. Did I repeat another image? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 in number. So directly here, we're going to leave the comments for the end of the hero section. So this is a VS Code shortcut. If you want to copy a line of code, you hold Shift, Alt, and down, and then you hold Alt and drag it and tap and down to take it down. So I think it's there. Okay, no, hero. So the end, yeah, the end is here. So end of hero, and so the next end is the welcome section. So start of welcome, we also need to end it. So we'll take it down directly below the section tag. It's always good to leave good labeling to label properly, so that you won't be confused while styling your website in the CSS file. So let's check out what we have so far. Yeah, so this is what we have. This blue and green, is this green or blue? I guess it's blue. This blue image, and then our main image, which is this one right here. So let's style our welcome section, starting with the nav bar. So let's begin. We'll go to our CSS file. The first thing you need to do is to reset your CSS, your website spacing. So we'll have margin 0, padding 0, box sizing, border box. So let's begin. We're going to have, first of all the A tags, we don't want them to have text decoration. We don't want them to be underlined like this. So all the A tags, we're going to have text decoration none. And under that, we're just going to create some global styles. So we're going to have empty one, which refers to margin top. So margin top 1.5 rem. So let me just copy this, shift alt and down, empty 2. This will have margin top of 3 rem, which is double the previous one. So we're going to have the btn primary, which has background color. Remember, we're following the Figma design, so we're using the hex codes provided to us by the UI designer. Hashtag 25A4AD. So text color of white, padding 0.79 rem, top and bottom 2 rem, left and right, border radius of 3 pixels, border none, and cursor pointer. So for the BTN secondary, it's going to be practically the opposite of this one. So BTN secondary, background color of white, then text color of hashtag 25A4AD. This border is going to be one pixel solid with this particular our primary color. So let's also add the hover effects for both of them. So BTM primary hover, we'll just change the background color hashtag 1F8990. That's like a darker version of our primary color. And then the BTN secondary. Hover. We'll change the text color to this, and then the border color as well. It should still be solid 1 pixel, and a darker color 1A7278. So let's check what we have so far. So this is what we have. Look at our buttons. So let's just give some basic styling to our welcome container. Which is this entire section, this welcome container right here. So we'll give it a padding of 2 rem for the top, 8 rem for the right, 4 rem for the bottom, and 5 rem for the left. Let's just add a basic animation using keyframes. 2 seconds, iteration count once, the name of fade in and ease in. So this fade in is going to be like a global animation, so multiple sections are going to have it. So we're going to style the keyframes at the bottom because we're going to use it on multiple sections. So let's label it, call it fade in keyframe. So we're going to have at keyframes, the name we gave it was fade in. Then at 0%, it's going to have opacity of 0, and at 100%, it's going to have opacity of 1. So we're going to be using this fade in keyframe on multiple sections. So whenever you refresh your website, each section would have this fade in effect. So let's check it out. There we go. So once you reload your website, it's going to fade in basically. So let's move on. Let's then style this navigation bar. So it's meant to look like this. So let's move on. So directly under this welcome container, I'll leave a label for nav styles. So remember, it's always good to leave labels. For each section that you have, for proper easy reading, and so people can easily understand your code that you have. So we'll leave a comment, nav styles, and under that we have the class of nav container display of flex. Remember, we're using only CSS flex box throughout this entire website, so we won't be making use of the grid we're only going to be using flex. Justify content, space between, align items center. So let's check it out. So you see the sign up button and the home links are separated now. So the next thing we have is our nav links, display flex, justify content, space evenly, and a gap of 2.2 rem. The next thing we have is a nav collection, display of flex, list style none, list style none, gap 2.2 rem, justify content, space between, align items center. So the next thing we have is our BTN collection. So just code along with me, and we just code along with me. This, like I said, this project is for people that have prior knowledge with HTML and CSS. So the BTN collection, display flex, list style of none, gap of 2.2 rem, align items center. So let's check what we have so far. Yeah, it's starting to look good. So I'm working on the nav bar, if you remember. So let's move on. The next thing we have is the BTN collection item, which has a color of 313131. That's the text color. And then let's add a hover effect as well. Shift Alt and down. So our hover effect, then we change the color to 1F8990. So the next thing we have is the logo, which is this logo right here, this web weavers. So the class of logo, color, this color right here, our primary color. Then let's add the hover effect as well. Logo hover. So we have a darker 1F8990. Let's check what we have. Yeah, so this nav collection items, we need to change the text color as well. So see our secondary button, this is our primary button. So let's move on. So we have nav collection item, color 313131, And then we have the hover effect. $25 A4 AD. So this rectangle, this so let's check the hover effect. As you can see, when you hover, it changes to our primary color. Sorry. When you hover, it changes to our primary color. And when you hover on the BTN secondary, the border color changes. And for the primary, the color becomes slightly darker. So next thing we need to do is to style this particular image. If you look at the styling, our design, it's at the top right corner of the nav bar. So let's move on. The next thing we have is rectangle 1184, top 0, right 0, position absolute. So here we go. We're done with the nav bar. The image is now at the corner, the top right corner of our nav. So the next thing we need to style is this particular section, this particular div. And we give it a class of hero container. So let's go to our CSS. So we'll create a comment, we'll call it hero styles, and under it we have a hero container display flex gap 0.2 rem, align items center. We have a hero collection display flex list style none, align items center, gap 0.8 rem, margin top 3 rem. So let's see what we have. Yeah, so let's move on. The next thing we have is the hero text, class of hero text. So padding 2 rem at the top, 5 rem at the right, 0 rem and 0 rem for the left. So we have our hero paragraph. We'll give it margin top of 1.2 rem, padding 0 rem, 14 rem for the right, 0 rem for the bottom and 0 rem for the left. We can literally just say padding right though. But let's just, since we're only targeting the right, so we can delete all this. Padding right. So this is, we're styling this right now. So don't worry, we're going to target these images and resize them properly. So next thing we have is our welcome btn primary, because this particular button has a box shadow. So we'll give it a box shadow. So 1 pixel, 5 pixels, and then 8 pixels for the transparency, the opacity. And then we'll have our primary color for the color of the shadow. So the next thing, we need to style the div that contains all the images in our welcome section. So hero img div, I believe is what we called it. Padding top of 6 rem. Then hero img, which is this this particular image right here, this big image. So we need to resize all these images and reposition them basically. So the idea is to have this section look like this. So hero img, let's resize the width, make it 20.3 rem. Position relative, margin top, let's give -5 rem to take it to the top. So let's give the styling for this providing text. The text we gave the class of providing. So font weight lighter, font family, let's use this Gill Sans empty. You can choose to use Google fonts. Later we're going to add the Google fonts and to the entire body of the website, just to make our fonts look better. So the font size 3.8 rem. So the last thing for now, web services, font size 4.5 rem. Color, that's text color, our primary color. So we now need to style all these images, basically all the images on our website, which have all these various shapes. So let's leave a label. We'll call it, for reference, we'll call it styling the shapes in the hero div. So the first one is vector 2. Vector 2, most of them will have absolute position, absolute, margin. When you give something absolute position, it makes it not affect other elements in the website when you are moving that particular item around the web page, basically. So that's just like the summary of what it means. So we have a rectangle 29. The width, let's resize it, the width of 22 rem. Position absolute, margin left, minus 0.65 rem. Let's see what we have so far. You see this image has come up now. So let's continue. So the next thing we have is a rectangle. This one is 1178 margin, 10 rem top, 0 right, 0 rem bottom, and then minus 8 rem for the left. Position absolute. So the next one is the group 1320. Position absolute, margin 20 rem, 0 rem, 0 rem, minus 6 rem. Let me give some space. So the next thing we have is the next shape. Let me just rectangle 1183. Position absolute, margin. So we're just positioning these images all around that section, all around our website, basically. 0 rem, 3 rem. Then the last rectangle 1177, position absolute, margin minus 3 rem, 0 rem, 0 rem, minus 18 rem. So let's check what we have so far. Yeah, it's looking good, looking very good. So this is the target, and this is what we have. Yeah, it's looking sharp. So we're going to let's just add some animation basically to some, maybe two of these shapes, just to give our web page a bit of life basically, and to improve the user experience. So we're going to target this rectangle 1177, which is this one. We're going to give the both of them some animations. So this rectangle 1177, so animation 5 seconds for the duration, infinite for the iteration count, and the name will be bounce. So directly below it, we have our keyframes. The identifier is bounce. So at 0%, the margin top will be 0. At 50%, the margin top will be 2 rem. At 100%, the margin top will be 0. So basically to just go down, margin top of 2 rem, and then go back up basically. So let's also style So I think this one is actually for this, yeah, this shape right here. So you see our animation is now functioning. It's just to just give it a bit of life, basically. So let's give this shape right here some animations. So I believe it's rectangle 11757. So position of absolute margin 2 rem 0 rem 0 rem minus 3.7 rem. So animation 7 seconds for the duration, infinite for the iteration count, and the name, let's just give it float around. So at keyframes, let me just copy this. Let me just copy that one. So rename this to float around. Float around at 0%, margin top of 0. At 50%, let's give the margin top minus 4 rem. So this one will go up and then come back down. So let's also add at 75% just to make it look smooth, to move smoothly, basically. Margin top of 4 rem. And then at 100%, we'll have, at 100%, we'll have the margin top at 0. So let's see what we have. I think we're done with our welcome section now. Yeah, it's looking really nice. So it goes up and then comes right back down, just to give it a bit of life, basically. So we're done with this section. The next section we have is this client section. So these are the images, practically like logos of the clients that the web development agency has. So as usual, we'll leave comments. We'll call this start client section. Start client section. So we'll have a section tag with the class of clients. This client section is going to be very simple because it's just multiple images on a straight line. We're just going to use CSS flex. So we have a div with the class of clients container. Inside that we have a h2 with the class of clients heading. Basically the same thing we did in the previous section. So always try to use, like I said, try to use sensible, reasonable class names. Under that we have a div with the class of clients image container. So this is what will hold all the logos that we have, and each logo is going to be inside a div, basically its own smaller div. So I have div client div, and then inside the div will have an image. Let's just copy this and paste it to save a bit of time. So we'll have multiple. I think it's 5 logos if I'm not mistaken. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first one first one will have an image with the class of plan day. Source image group 542 is the name. This one, image with the class of Umbraco. That's the name of the logo basically. IMG group 543. The next one, we have IMG with the class of Pearl Fisher. That was the name of the logo, which is group 544. So I think I can just copy this down. This one is group. This one is Bright Pearl. The class name, let's call it Bright Pearl. And the image, it's group 545. And this one, the last one, is just this one basically. So let me just copy it down. Shift Alt and down. It's just a VS Code shortcut. So let's check our website. So we have all the logos, our client logos right here. So it's time to style it. It has to look like this. So let's style it. Let's begin. So we had this start client section. So we need to also have end client section. So in the CSS, we're going to leave a comment as well to indicate a new, we're styling a new section. Client styles. And under that, we'll have client container, padding 6 rem, 4 rem, text align center. So we're going to give it a fading animation. Remember the global animation we created, which is the fading animation. So to last for 2 seconds, it will do iterate only once, then fading. I let it ease in. So the next thing we have is a client image container, IMG container. We're going to flex them to put them on the same line. So display of flex, justify content space evenly, background color, we're going to have F8, that's like a grayish color, light gray. Align items center, and the padding 3 rem, 0 rem. So let's check it out. Yeah, it's looking nice, looking good. So we're actually done with this with our client section. So let's give some space between the heading and the images, the client logos. So client heading, font size 2 rem to increase the size, margin bottom 3 rem. Let's check it out. Yeah, looking good. It's looking good. So we've done the welcome section, we've done our client section. So the next part is the services, which starts from here and has like this grid looking section, but we're still going to use CSS Flex. Remember this project, we're using CSS Flex box throughout the project. We can as well use grid, but for this one we're only using Flexbox just to showcase that the CSS Flex is still very powerful and it can be utilized properly. I just want to show that we don't really need to use the grid when you have like multiple items all the time. But obviously some scenarios are better utilized using the CSS grid. So let's move on. So we have the best service, the heading, the paragraph. So let's begin. So we're going to have this, basically we start from here and then end here where there's an image behind this grid. So just follow me while I code, just code along with me. So we have the start. So we'll go to the HTML. Directly under the client section, we'll leave a comment, start services section. Let me leave a bit of space between, okay, welcome, end, welcome, start client, end client, start services. So first thing we have is the section with the class of services. And inside that we'll have our services, a class of services container. And inside that we'll have a H2, a class of services heading. And inside that we'll have best, and then we'll have a span with the class of blue, just to give it text color of blue. That's our primary color of blue. Services. So best services, basically. Under the H2, we have a paragraph with the class of services paragraph. And we'll have a lorem. Let's just give it a lorem of 20. And directly under the paragraph, we have a div that contains our image, services image. Let's call it services image div. And inside that, we're going to have two divs basically. So like I said, just code along with me. So I have to structure it in a way that we can use CSS Flex box. So the first image, services image div, inside it we're going to have two divs. Services image div, the first div, we'll just call it services image div first. Okay, and then inside it we'll have another div. We'll call it services image div first inner one. So inside that we just have an empty div that will serve as like a blur to add the blur effect. Div with the class of blur first inner one. We also give it a class of blur. This special class of blur first inner one is to give it this slight curve that we have. So each div has its own type of curve and with the border radius. So we have to give them unique names so we can curve them properly. So inner one blur, and then under that we'll have a h2 with the class of services inner heading. So we have web, we have a line break, web development. So that's the services of this agency. The services of this agency, and we're going to add some icons using ionic icons. So directly under this, directly under this h2, we have a span with a class of rating. So these are just going to be the icons. So ion icon. So the name is going to be heart. That's the name type of icon, or it should be a star basically, but let's just leave it like that. Just code along with me. Shift Alt and down to copy a line of code downwards. So under the service image div first inner one, which is this, we're going to have another div with the class of, let me just copy this one. This one is going to be inner2. So have an empty div that serves as the blur. Let me just copy this one as well. So this serves as the blur. This is going to be first inner2 blur. Then under, let's just copy this one as well. We're going to have a h2, and this one's going to say database management. So for this second one, we can just copy and paste it, and then rename the, so this is the div first, so we can just copy this one, we'll copy it, leave some space, paste it, and then we can edit it. So this is services image div second, services image div second inner one. So I have a div for the blur, so we'll call this second inner one blur. The h2, this is web designing. Then we can just leave the rating, and then we have this services image div. We'll call this second inner2 div blur second inner2 blur. The thing is, there are multiple ways of doing something, so the aim is just to do it properly. So if you don't structure your HTML well, you won't be able to style it properly. So your HTML should be like really important. That's your structuring. So for this one, we just have SEO. Let's clear this one. So directly under services image div, which is this div right here, we're going to have our buttons. If you look at the design, after these services, we have this button right here, and we have this image as well. So those ionic icons are for this rating, these stars here. So let's move on. So we have a button with a class of btn secondary. We also give it a class, a global class of margin top 2, explore all, and then under it we have the image. That's the image behind the those, I guess, the grid, the image behind the grid. Image with the class of decorator 2. So in the source, src img decorator 2. So let's end it. And services section. So like we're done with our HTML structure, it's time to style it in our CSS. It's time to style it in our CSS. So let's look at the website. This is what we have here. Obviously, it's not going to look good. And this is the button right here. So let's begin. Let's begin styling. So in the CSS, we'll leave a comment. Services styles. So the first thing we have is the services container padding of 5 rem, 4 rem, text align, center, align items, center, animation. Let's add the fading animation, 2 seconds, 1, fade in, ease in. So the next thing we have is the services heading. The services heading, font size of 3 rem, margin bottom of 1 rem, and then let's style that blue, the blue class, which gives anything our primary text, our primary color of blue. It gives the text this primary color. So the next thing we have is the services paragraph. Padding top and bottom 0 rem, left and right of 16 rem. So let's check what we have so far. Yeah. So this is what has the class of blue. So let's continue. We have the services image div, which has display of flex, gap 1.4 rem, margin top 3 rem, align items, center, align content, center, justify file content center, and also give it z index of 1. So let's check it out. What do we have? Yeah, this is the two divs. We flex them right now. So the next thing we have is the services image div first inner 1. So we're going to do this too. We're targeting the both of them. We want to give them inner. We'll call this on second. We want to give them the same styling of margin bottom of 1 rem. So services image div second, we'll give it margin top of 3 rem. If you look at the design, this particular div is kind of higher than this one right here. So let's move on. 3 rem. So the next thing we're targeting is this one. So we have services image div first inner 1. We have the background image. We have URL. Okay, we need to come outside. IMG rectangle /32, and we don't want it to repeat. Background size contain width of 16 rem, height of 16 rem. So let's see what we have. That's for this one. So we need to style the rest. So we can literally just copy and paste. So we have the inner 1. This will be the inner 2. And this image is rectangle 34, I mean. Rectangle 34. So the next one we have, this one is second inner 1. Second inner 1. And this one is rectangle 33. Rectangle 33. And then we have second inner 2. Second inner 2. This one is rectangle 35. So let's look at what we have now. Yeah, it's looking good. Looking good. So we use just CSS Flex for this. So to properly utilize Flexbox or anything basically in CSS, you have to structure your HTML properly, or else your styling won't reflect properly. So the next thing we have is to style the blur. Class of blur, background color black, opacity 0.5 to give it 50% transparency, width of 16 rem, height of 15.8 rem, and position absolute. So the next thing we have is to style the blur, to give the blur its own curve, because if you look, see, the blur doesn't have the border radius, so we need to give, that's why we give them their own, we give all of them their own unique class name for the blur styling. So we have blur first inner one, so we have the border top left radius 47%. So I can just literally just copy and paste border first inner 2, border first inner 2, border bottom left radius, we'll give it 48%. Blur second inner 1. That's why you need to give proper class names, reasonable, sensible, relatable class names. Blur second inner 1, border top right radius 48%, second inner 2, border bottom right radius 48%. So let's check it out. Exactly, looking good. So let's move on. Yeah, it looks good. Let's move on. The next thing we have is to style the heading, which is this heading inside the green each box basically. So we have the services, inner heading, text color of white, padding top 40%, position relative so let's give it let's start the image that's supposed to be behind the grid, decorator 2. So we have width 22 rem, position absolute left 1 rem, margin top -25 rem, margin left 9 rem, z index -1. So I think that's all with the services styling. Yeah, so this image is now behind our grid. So that is all with our services. So this is what we have so far: the welcome section, a client section, and our services. So the next part is this part right here, which is called features. So let's go to the HTML and structure it before we style it. So we have start start features section. So under it, as usual, we have a section tag with the class of features. We have a div, features container. I have a h2 with the class of features heading. And inside there we have and then we have a span with the class of blue to give the text color our primary blue color. We have the features, and then under the h1 we have a paragraph with the class of features paragraph. We'll just give this a lorem 22. Then directly under the paragraph we have a div with the class of features boxes. That's each box. That's for let's go to the design. That's for each box we have right here. So we have the features boxes. Inside it we have a div with the class of features box. The first one is going to have like an active look. When you click on something and it's in focus basically. So yeah, the h3 with the class of features box heading. We also give it a class of blue. So in the h3 we have workload. Under the h3 we have a paragraph with the class of features box paragraph, and inside that we have some text, but we'll just give it lorem. Let me give it a lorem of 27, or maybe 25 should be okay. Lorem of 25. So we're just gonna be copying and pasting because we just have multiple boxes. So each box just copy this. And this one is not the active, so this was just gonna be called features box. So this one's heading is time tracking. The next one, okay, time tracking. We don't need the blue because it's not in focus. The next one, collaborations. This one is going to be called collaborations. Okay, we have something under. Completely forgot. So under the paragraph, we have a h4, the class of features link. And inside that we have an a tag, the class of blue for the active box. And then the href should be empty. And then inside the a tag we have learn more. It's just going to be shaped like a button basically. So I can just copy this. Copy this h4. Paste it directly under the paragraph. This one's just going to be called features link. We don't need a class of blue. This one's going to be, it's just going to be learn more. And then this one, let me just copy this down directly under the paragraph. So collaborations, learn more. And then we have the last one, remote work. So remote work. So directly under the div which holds this feature boxes, which is this div right here. So we'll follow this line down. So directly under this one, we have a button with a class of btn secondary and a class of margin top 2. And inside that we have explore all as well. So we're done with the HTML structure. So end features section. So let's check out what we have. So this is it. So it's time to style it. So head on to our CSS, leave a comment, features, styles, and then under that we'll have features container, text align center, margin top 5 rem, background color f8 f8 f8, padding 8 rem 0 rem. So we'll give it the fading animation as well. Animation 2 seconds once fade in is in. So the next thing we have is the features boxes. So we have features, let me just copy this, features boxes, margin left, I have the margin left 4 rem, margin top 4.6 rem, display of flex, gap of 1.5 rem. Under that we have the features boxes active, border of none, border radius of 5 pixels, background color of white, box shadow. So we're going to have 8 pixels, 8 pixels, 18 pixels, and 8 pixels in RGB. For the first one, we'll have 228. For the green, we'll have 227, and for the blue, we'll have 227 as well. So under the box shadow, we have padding of 2 rem, we have the width of 55 rem, we have the height of 18 rem. So for the features box, this one is the for the box that is in focus basically. So the features box, some things are going to be similar, so let's just copy this down, and then we'll delete some things. So this active is gonna go. This one's meant to be features box active, not boxes. Features box active. So the features box is gonna have a border of 1 pixel solid, and then RGB. Let me just copy this RGB. This is gonna be 196. So the next thing we'll have is the padding, height and width. So I can then remove this one. It also doesn't need a border radius. We'll clean this one as well. So yeah. So the next thing we have, let's check out what we have so far. So yeah, looking good. This is the active box and the other boxes. So let's move on. So the next thing we want to do is to give some padding and some margin basically. Features box between the heading and the paragraph. And features box paragraph. Features box heading, features box paragraph, margin bottom 1.4 rem. Then we'll have features heading, we'll have the font size of 3 rem, margin bottom 1.5 rem. We have features paragraph, padding 0 rem, 19 rem. Features link color 313131, and I think we are done. So let's check it out. Yeah, we're done. Features link and A. Yeah, there we go. So the next part we have is what clients say section. So that's reviews basically. So the review section start reviews. So we have a section with the class of reviews. Then we have a div with the class of reviews container, a h1 with the class of reviews heading, then we have span with the class of blue, clients say, then under that paragraph with the class of reviews paragraph, lorem 20. Then under the paragraph we have a div with the class of reviews inner div, and then we have a div with the class of reviews img div. Under that, an image with the class of reviews img, rectangle 32:1. Under that div, the image div, we're going to have a div with the class of reviews text, and inside that we have a h5 with the class of reviews text heading, and inside we have best developers. Under that we have a paragraph with the class of reviews text paragraph. We have a lorem, let's give it a lorem 18. And under the paragraph we have a h6, the class of reviews text heading 2. Then we have my name, Michael. Then a h6, we have a class of, let's just copy this one down, reviews heading 3, and we can just call this director at web weavers, basically. And then under the reviews inner div, we have two images. First one, we have a class of reviews arrow, image group 1388, and under that we have another image with the class of reviews rectangle. This one is going to be the decorator, and we're done with this with the HTML structuring of our reviews section. So end reviews section. So let's see what we have so far. Yeah, so it's time to style it. This review section, which is what we have right here. So let's go to our styling. So let's go to styling. As usual, we leave a comment, reviews, styles. First, we'll have a reviews container. We're adding 8 rem, top and bottom, 0 rem. Reviews heading and reviews paragraph. We have text align center, margin bottom 1.4 rem. So next we have is the reviews heading. Reviews heading, font size 3 rem. Reviews paragraph. We have padding 0 rem, 21 rem. We have reviews inner div, padding of 0.5 rem, 0 rem, 0 rem, 20.6 view width for the padding left. Display flex, margin top 3 rem. So the next we have reviews img. We also resize the image 20 rem. The next thing we have is a reviews text, padding of 5 rem, 5 rem, 5 rem, and 3 rem. Background color F8, F8, F8. We have the width 32 view width to kind of put it in the center. So we have the border button right radius 50%. Let's look at what we have so far. Yeah, nice. So all that's left is to style this image, to reduce the size of this image and space out our text a little. So the next thing we have is the reviews text heading. So I can just copy this. Reviews text heading and reviews text paragraph. I'll give it margin bottom 1.2 rem. Reviews text heading, font size 1 rem. Reviews text paragraph, font size 0.8 rem. So reviews text heading 2, margin bottom 0.35 rem, yeah. So the next thing we have is the images. So we have reviews arrow, what I chose to call it. So position absolute, padding left 45, view width, padding top 10, view height. So reviews rectangle, position absolute, margin left 67, view width, margin top minus 43, view width. To take it a little bit up, width of 17 rem, z index of -1. So with that, we're done with our reviews section. So you see the image is now at the top and behind this div. So yeah, let's move on. The next part is the pricing, which is this section. So the first thing we need to do is to structure the HTML. So we'll go back to the HTML and, as usual, leave a comment. Start pricing section with the class of pricing, a div, class of pricing, container. Under that we have a h2 with the class of pricing heading, and inside that we'll have a span with the class of blue, a pricing plan. Directly under the h2 we have a div with the class of pricing box div, and under that we have a div with the class of pricing box, and inside that box we have a h3 with the class of pricing box heading, and the text is for starters. Under the h3 we have a h2 with the class of pricing box amount. Inside there we have $59. Under that we have a list, a UL with the class of pricing box list, and inside we have an LI with the class of pricing list item. So we can just copy and paste this one. So let's just use lorem 15, no, lorem 3, we can just copy this down instead. So under the UL, we have a button, the class of BTN secondary, request demo, and directly under the pricing box, we have a div. I think it's just the same thing, just that it will act as the boxing that is in focus, basically, just like the previous section that we did. So we'll copy this down, paste this here. We'll add active to the class name, add blue to give it text color of blue, and yeah, we'll call this for themes. For themes, this will be $99. Request demo. The next one, pricing box. So let me just copy this one. Pricing box under the active. So pricing box heading for company. And this one will have custom. And this will just have 3 things. And yeah, request demo as well. And so under this, the div which holds all of them, which is the pricing box div, will have an image with the class of pricing decorator, which is decorator 3. So did I not create a section tag? Wait, let me check. Yeah, reviews, pricing. Okay, we made a mistake here. So let me cut this. Let me move it a little, and then under this I'm going to have the closing section tag. Yeah, so be careful while structuring your HTML. So end pricing section. Yeah, so let's check out what we have so far. So this is what we have. So it's time to style our pricing section. So let's go to the CSS. As usual, we'll create pricing styles, and under that we have pricing container, margin 5 rem, 0 rem, padding 9 rem, 0 rem. align items, center, text align, center. The next we have is the pricing heading. Pricing heading, we just want to resize it. Font size of 3 rem. So we have the pricing box div, display flex, gap 3 rem, margin left 18, view width, padding 5 rem, 0 rem. So the next thing we have is the pricing box border solid 1 pixel, D8D 8D8, height of 22 rem, width of 16 rem, padding of 3 rem, background color of white. Let's check what we have so far. Yeah, so let's style this active. So you can just copy this down. So this one is going to be active, border of none, box shadow, two pixels, 7 pixels, 17 pixels, 2 pixels, and D8, background color of white. I think the rest is the same. So let's check it out. Looking good. So the next thing we have is to style this image right here. So we have the pricing box heading. Let me just copy this one. Pricing box heading and pricing box amount. We have margin bottom of 0.6 rem. Pricing box heading, margin top minus 1 rem. Pricing box amount, pricing box amount, font size of 2.5 rem. Pricing box list, margin 1.4 rem, 0 rem. So we have, let's check it out. Yeah, looks good. So the next thing we have is pricing container. Okay, let's target it specifically. Pricing container, pricing box div, and the li. So we'll give it text align left, text align left, margin bottom 0.5 rem, font size 0.8 rem. The next we have is the pricing decorator, which is our image, width of 23 rem, position absolute, left 0, margin top of -26 rem, margin left of 3 rem, and then z index of -1. Let's check out what we have. Yeah, we're done. We are done with our pricing section. We're done with our pricing section. So this is our pricing section. I don't think we added the fading. No, we didn't add the fading animation. So let's add a fading animation. So we'll go back to I think pricing. It should be in the pricing container. So we'll go back to the pricing container to add our animation. Yeah. So animation, 2 seconds, iterate once, fade in, then ease in. So let's check it out now. Yeah, it has been added. So the next section we have is the frequently asked questions section, which is after this pricing, which is this place right here. So once we do this, the last place we have is the footer, which is this part. So let's get started with the frequently asked questions section. So let's go to our HTML to create the structure. So let's call it FAQ. So start FAQ. Make it in capitals. FAQ section. Start FAQ section, and then inside it we have section with the class of FAQ. Then inside that we'll have a div with the class of FAQ container, and inside that we'll have a h2 with the class of FAQ heading. We also give it a class of blue. Inside the heading we'll have FAQ, like frequently asked questions. And under the h2 we have a div with the class of FAQ box div. Inside that we have a UL with the class of FAQ list, and inside that we have an LI with the class of FAQ list item. Inside the LI we'll have a H4 with the class of FAQ list heading, and then inside we have an icon, so we use this ionic icons. The name is remove outline, and then after the icon we also have a lorem, maybe lorem 16. No, let's do lorem 10. And then under the H4 we have a paragraph with the class of FAQ list paragraph, FAQ list paragraph. And inside the paragraph we also have a lorem maybe 20. Then under that we just have another li with the class of FAQ list item. So we just have some LIs. All I did was copy and paste. After the first li, after the first FAQ list item, you have a second one which just has a H4 inside, and then you have 3 more of those. So let's see what we have. I think that's all about the HTML structure of our FAQ section. So at the end of it, you just leave a comment and say end FAQ section. So let's check out our website to see what we have so far. So this is the FAQ section. So it's now time to style it. Let's head on to our CSS. As usual, we'll leave a comment. FAQ styles. First thing we have is our FAQ container. Padding of 5 rem, 5 rem, margin top of -6 rem. The next we have is the FAQ heading, which has text align, center, font size 3 rem. Then we have the FAQ list, margin top of 3.3 rem. List style of none, width of 40 rem, margin left of 20 view width. The next we have is the FAQ list heading. FAQ list heading, which has margin bottom of 1.2 rem and font size of 1.1 rem. The next thing we have is the FAQ list item. FAQ list item, padding 2 rem, 4 rem, border none, border radius 7 pixels, box shadow 2 pixels, 17 pixels, 2 pixels. And for the color we have E4, E3, E3. And then margin bottom of 1.3 rem. So let's check out what we have so far. Our FAQ section. Did we add the animation? No, we didn't. So we need to go and add our animation. So this is the FAQ, frequently asked questions section, which we have here. So all that's left is the ionic icon. So once I add the link, because we already imputed the ionic icons in the HTML, so once we add the link of the ionic icons, the icons will reflect. So that's all with the FAQ section. What is left is the footer, our footer, which is this entire section. So let's get right to it. So we'll go to the HTML as usual. We create, leave a comment, start footer section, and we create a section with a class of footer, and then we create a footer tag and give it a class of footer container. So the first thing we have is an image with a class of footer img2, because if we look at the design, our footer has images at each corner of the container of the div. So this is one image, this is another image. So we have 4 images, and then we have a background color as well. So let's move on. The first image, img background 1. So I can just copy this one down, change this one to background, no, not background 2, background 3. Change the class name to footer image 4. To footer image 4. We don't need this alt, so clean it. Then the next thing we have is a div with the class of courses div, and inside that we have a h1 with the class of courses heading, and the text is people who are, and then we have a line break, then ready took this. You don't need to type it out, you can just use lorem though. Courses, let's just write this one out, and then under the h1 we have a button with the class of courses btn. Then we have schedule demo. So you can just use lorem, you don't have to write it out. And then directly under the courses div, we have another div with the class of footer links div. And we have a div inside with the class of footer logo. And then inside that we have a h2 with the class of footer logo heading. Inside that we have web weavers. And under the h2 we have a paragraph with the class of footer logo paragraph. And we have added location, which is my own location, Enugu State, Nigeria. Then I have a line break, all rights reserved. This is like a credits section where you just you can put your credits, like built by so company. This is our footer section. So directly under this div, we have another div with the class of footer links. This is what will hold the actual links. So inside that, we have a UL with the class of link list. And inside the UL, we have multiple LIs. The first LI has a class of list head. And inside the LI, we have a H4, which just says links. And under that, we have an LI with the class of list item. And inside that, we have an A tag with the class of list. Let's call it list anchor. The href should be empty. And the first one, we have multiple of this, so I can just copy it down. The first one is called overruns. The second is called social media. The third is called counters. And the last is called contacts. So directly under the UL, we have another UL with the class of link list. So we can just literally copy what we have here. Let's just copy this. I can just copy this down. Or let me clear this one. Let me clear this, make this empty, then I can just copy it down. 2 more times. We also need a list head as well. So let me copy this one down, take it here. So this list head is going to be company. It's going to be company. And then the next thing we'll have is the terms and conditions. Terms and conditions. The next thing is the privacy policy. Privacy policy. And then the last thing is contact. And we have one more UL, so I can just copy this one since it's similar to the other one, and then paste it right here. Link list, link list head, and this is get in touch. And this one is the location. So I'll just clean this, which is my location, Enugu State, Nigeria. And the next thing is the phone number. Clean this. We can just write a dummy phone number. 085 1234 1234, and just a dummy email, something like info@webweavers.net. This is just a dummy email, a placeholder email. And then directly under the footer links div, which is this right here. Directly under this, we'll have our remaining. We have a final paragraph, which is where we'll have our credits, our final credits, which is a paragraph with a class of final footer item. We'll leave a C. So how you write the C is and copy semicolon 2024 web weavers. Then you can put your name, built by. You have a span with a class. Okay, no, let us have a span, and then inside the span we have an A tag with a class of blue to give it a blue text color. The href should be empty. That's where you put the link to your portfolio. And then my name, Michael. Then after that, after the span, we have a full stop and all rights reserved. So directly under the paragraph, we'll have two images. An image with the class of footer image 1, source image, which is the background, and then another image with the class of footer image 3, and then source image, which is the background 2. So that is the end of our HTML section for the entire website. So we'll leave a comment and footer section. So let's check out our websites. Let's check out what we have. So obviously it's going to be hideous. So it's time to style the footer section. So we'll go to our CSS. We'll leave some space. We'll leave a comment. Footer styles. And under that we'll have, the first thing we'll have is the footer container. So you can see the entire website has a pattern that we followed, and you need to be consistent with whatever pattern you choose to use to avoid confusion. So padding 5 rem, 5 rem, 1 rem, 5 rem, background color, I think we have it already. Yeah, 313131. Color of white. So these hex codes we're using, we took them from the design. So you have to follow exactly everything the UI designer used. That's if you're following a UI UX design. So even the colors, the images, the icons, every single thing must be exactly the same. So let's move on. So the footer container, after the footer container, we have the courses div, and inside that we have text align center, color of white. Next thing we have is the courses heading, and inside there we have a font size of 3 rem. The next thing we have is courses btn, which is the button in the footer, which is this button right here. So courses btn, we have background color of, I think we have it 2C. Okay, we don't have it 2C. Padding of 1 rem and 2.6 rem. Border of solid 1 pixel white. Border radius of 5 pixels. Margin top of 3.2 rem and text color of white. So the next thing, let's check out the website. Yes, looking good. We're getting there. The next thing we have is the footer links div. So we have the footer links div and the footer links. We want to give them the same style of display flex. So the next thing we have is the footer links div. You can just copy this, come down here and paste it. So we'll give it justify content space around, padding top of 7 rem. The next thing we have is the footer links. We'll give it a gap of 4 rem. And under that, we have the link list. Let me give some space. We have the link list style of none. Next thing we have is the list item and the list head. We want to give it a margin, give them margin bottom of 1.2 rem. Let's check out what we have so far. Yeah, we're getting there. 1.2 rem. The next we have the list anchor. That's the A tag, if I'm not mistaken. List anchor, which is text color of white. And under that, let me go down well. Under that we have class of final footer item, text align center, margin top 3 rem. Under that we have the credit color 25 AD So it's time to style these images. So let's check out what we have. Yeah, looking good. So it's time to style all these images at the corner, all these triangular images. We need to position them properly. So the first we have is the footer image 1, the class of position, style of position, absolute, right 0, margin top of -23 rem. So we can just copy this down. Let me just copy this. The second one is the image 3, position absolute left of 0, margin top of -23 as well. So let's check out what we have so far. So that's for the two images at the bottom. So all that's left is the images at the top, which are these guys. So let's move on. So image 3, IMG2 is the next one. This one is right of 0 and margin top of -5 rem. And the last one, the last thing we're going to do in our website is the image 4, absolute position left of 0, margin top of -5 rem. And with that, I believe we are done with our website. Yes, so we didn't add fading. Let's add the fading to our frequently asked questions and to the footer. So we'll go to the footer container and add animation, 2 seconds duration, 1 iteration, fade in and ease in. So I can just copy this and paste it in a FAQ container. That's why you need to leave, labels so that you can easily locate stuff. So under this, I'll put the animation. We'll check it out. There we go. Let me check this one. Yeah. So guys, I believe we are done with our project. So like I said, I'll be leaving a link to the source files and a link to this particular Figma design as well. So in case you want to do it yourself and code along with the design as a guideline. And I'll also be leaving a link to the images if you just need the images, the link to the source code. So if you want to, maybe if you made a mistake or things are not really looking how they're supposed to in yours, then you can just go and download the file, the folder, and then take a look at it. So that's all for this video, and this is going to be a 2-part video, and in the next video we're going to work on the responsiveness. And so if we open this website on the phone, it should look good on phone, it should look good on tablet, it should look good on a laptop as well. So the next part of this video, we're going to work on the responsiveness. So stay tuned. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for the next part. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.